This episode is presented by Visit Cedar City Bryan Head Tourism Bureau. Discover the art of adventure at Utah's gateway to the parks. Cedar City is within a few hours' drive from 6 different national parks and monuments, and only 30 minutes from fresh snow at Bryan Head Resort. Check out visitcedarcity.com to plan your next trip. This episode is sponsored by the Cedar City Business and Innovation Center. Dedicated to supporting local businesses and entrepreneurs, it provides resources and services aimed at fostering business creation, growth, and retention. To learn more and get involved, visit innovationcenter.cc. Hello and welcome to the Explore Local podcast presented by Visit Cedar City Bryan Head in partnership with Cedar City Iron County Economic Development, produced by Dallas Smith Media, and I'm your host, David Johnson. All right, today we have Christian Morales, who is the owner of Rosales Mexican Food up at Bryan Head. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar, talk about where in Bryan Head are you?
So we are at the mall in Bryan Head. We are in the end of the mall, right next to Giant Steps. We're right next to Bryan Head Sports and right next to Paisano's Pizza.
Awesome. And how long have you been there now?
We just had our third anniversary on the 21st. So January 21st of 2023 was when we originally opened.
It's already been that long?
It's been 3 years, yes.
Wow. That's awesome. So tell me, what made you think to yourself, because you're a young guy, you seem ambitious, what made you go, let's start this Mexican restaurant up at Bryan Head?
Right, so this is quite a long story, but to break it down easily, so my mother-in-law had always wanted to open a restaurant. When my wife and I were both in school at the time, and my mother-in-law would come visit us. This time specifically was over Thanksgiving time frame, and we saw that there was an opening, or the location was coming up vacant shortly during that time frame. So we went and actually toured it with the building owners, and they said that it was going to be vacant starting December. And we actually took a leap of faith, honestly.
Really?
So my mother-in-law pitched the idea, and my wife and I talked about it, and we went toward the place, and in a span of 3 weeks, we had to sign a contract.
Wow.
It was honestly a leap of faith, but 3 years running now.
Wow, that's amazing. So talk about, feel free to go a little into some of that, the depth of the decision making, because how did you go, because you were students, how did you go in 3 weeks time and say, yeah, this is something we feel like we can invest in? Because that consumes your life when you start a new business, especially a small business.
It really does. So my mother-in-law had always wanted to open a business. She actually has had businesses in Mexico, but she always had dreamt of having a restaurant. So this has something that always had been in the back of her mind, but she never had really found a place to do it. She's always lived in Southern California, and if you know anything about Southern California, there's a plethora of Mexican spots.
Yeah.
So the competition is very hardcore out there. Here in Utah, I mean, Cedar City, yes, we have our fair share of Mexican restaurants, but Bryan Head is a niche location because it's a ski resort, you know.
Yeah.
The need for restaurants up there is very strong, and with location opening up, there had not been a Mexican restaurant there, I believe, for like 8 or 10 years before we opened. So we kind of dove into that idea once we knew, and we toured it. We sat down and we're like, hey, you know, this is something that could be very, very nice, a very ambitious idea, but at the same time, we thought thoroughly through it. And yes, with being students, I mean, and my wife and I were expecting at the time, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we already had a handful. I was actually already working on the mountain, so I had a little knowledge of Bryan Head. I had been working at a hotel. It used to be a Best Western. Now it changed to Bryan Head Lodge, owned by the resort. So we knew what the town needed, you know. Yeah. So had a little bit more of an idea of the town. So we thought thoroughly, but we came to the conclusion that it was something that we could potentially do very well. And with us being obviously of Mexican descent, we use that knowledge of recipes to try to make it as authentic as possible.
Yeah. As one of the things that I thought of, because you're right next to Paisanos, is there's the classic debate of pizza or tacos, which one's better, and there's people that are adamant on both sides. I feel like you guys need to do some sort of marketing thing where it's like pizzas or tacos, and like, you know, play on each other.
Yeah. So with that, obviously Tony has been there for, I believe they just had the 23rd anniversary. I think they opened in like 2002 or 2003, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, obviously they have more time than us. They have more experience than us. But we were bringing something new to the mountain, something that that Brian had not had in a quite a while. So with our ideas, with our try to have everything as authentic as we could, our own seasonings, our own marinade, and everything, we knew that we could strive and, you know, try to gain our clientele, and we have over the past 3 years. Tony is an amazing person. He's the one that I rely to if I have any questions regarding the restaurant industry. You know,
That's awesome.
He has plenty of experience that has helped me out throughout the years. But we went in, we talked with the owners, with the building owners, because they wanted us to propose an idea, because they had other people interested in the location as well. So we kind of, I guess you could say, we kind of had to bid for it.
Yeah.
So we came in with a business plan, a business idea, and they liked it. But the other restaurants, I don't know what their ideas were, but I guess ours came a little bit on top.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we came on. So we started planning everything mid-December. With that, obviously, like I said, we were in school. We started doing everything to try to set up the business with legality-wise and everything.
Yeah.
So it took us quite some time, but we ended up opening January 21st. And to say that we had a line out the door on our opening day is an understatement. It was a very, very busy day, yes. Because with me being a mountain employee for some time, I had a lot of friends up there, a lot of acquaintances. So they started hearing, and everybody would text me like, hey, is it true you guys are opening a Mexican restaurant? And I was like, yes, we are. We don't know when, but we are. I'll let you guys know. But right before we opened, we started, spreading the word about a week before, when we knew we were opening. And all the locals, the friends, and everyone that knew me and knew my wife, because we had both work at the hotel, came by. They would come by when we were just cooking, just to prepare ourselves. And the day of opening, we had a line out the door.
Yeah. So tell me, because a lot of people have ideas or desires to start their own small business, whether it's a restaurant or something completely different. And you said you went from seeing that this is open with your mother-in-law having, an idea, to signing a lease in 3 weeks. But you also mentioned how you put together a business plan and these types of things. I like that you also mentioned that you kind of look to Tony sometimes if you have questions, which people might say, oh, you're competitors, but really it's more neighborly, right? But tell me about putting together that business plan, and how did you go about doing that? And did you go to people to kind of give you some guidance? Did you already have some ideas? What did that entail for those listening that are thinking, I might want to start my own restaurant or small business?
Right. Yeah. So with that, we had to really think what we wanted to have in there. So we built a menu before we even had a lease signed, basically.
Oh, really?
So we had to look at what products we could offer, because we're not necessarily like a full service, server type restaurant.
Yeah.
We're
like fast casual.
Yeah, between a blend of fast casual and fast food, I guess you could say. So we had to be and go out there and talk to the owner and be like, this is what we're planning. So we built the menu. So we had, we're going to have tacos, we're going to have burritos, we're going to have quesadillas. We would like to have integrate plates as well, like full plates with like enchiladas, rice, beans, and this is the sauces we're going to use. This is the spicy sauces that we're going to use for the people to add on to there. So this is how we plan on cooking it. So we built that menu, and we brought it to the two brothers that are the owners there. And we ended up building the menu, and more than nothing, we kind of had to improvise of what type of service we wanted to bring, just because obviously we had no experience. I had experience when it comes to serving and bartending because that was my job at the hotel.
Yeah.
But nothing in owner standpoint, you know. So we kind of had to improvise a little bit, but we had a strong foundation of what we wanted to serve, our ideas of how we wanted to serve it, and overall just the flavor profile that we wanted to bring to Brian Head. So it did take some improvisation, but at the same time we did have to have a solid plan, and obviously had to convince the owners at that point, that we wanted to do could succeed in Brian Head.
Right. So without necessarily telling me, because I don't want to make you share that with those listening, without telling me your exact finances, how did you had this idea, but then how did you go about determining how to manage the financials and figure out, what it would take to make enough to have a return on your investment, and who was going to manage that, you, your wife, your mother-in-law, or how did you kind of work through some of that as a new business owner?
Right. So like I mentioned, my mother-in-law was, it was primarily her idea. So it became a business of the three of us. So my mother-in-law was I guess you could say the majority stakeholder. She invested 50% of the business initial capital. My wife and I invested the other 50%. With that being said, like I said, I had been a server/bartender in the lodge, and if you know anything about those type of jobs, you heavily rely on tips,
Yeah.
So with us being in school, me being a veteran myself, I was getting a monthly stipend from the VA to cover basic expenses like rent and a little bit of here and there.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we saved as much as we could. So we had a savings to pull together. So we were able to front that 50% investment opportunity. So it did take we probably wouldn't have been able to do it if I was just maybe doing like a regular 9 to 5 or something else and if I wasn't getting a stipend from the VA, for example, which was helping cover some of my expenses, or our expenses, I should say. So we were able to front that. So my mother-in-law came in 50% of the original investment, and my wife and I came in with the other 50%. And we started looking at once we had signed the contract, obviously, we had to look at items that we needed. The restaurant primarily was equipped with the majority of the equipment you could think of, but we had to bring obviously some items and then purchase all the product that we were going to serve. So that was like the primary investment at the beginning, and after that we honestly, like I said, this was very improvised in a matter of weeks. So we had an idea, but not thoroughly. We hadn't really thought that far out. But with the investment at the beginning, we were able to open comfortably and run the first few months with the money that we were selling to keep the restaurant running. It was a tough few months because we opened in January. The season ends in April.
Yeah.
So that first summer was a very tough month or tough season for us.
Yeah,
like
probably learning experience.
Definitely learning and adjusting our expenses to obviously be able to continue running, because you have to have your investment for the business, and then you still have to keep your house running.
Right. Yeah.
So we planned for that accordingly, and we were able to make it work. It was some tough times that first year, I would say, but after that first year, we were able to visualize a little bit more. And okay, we have to plan for the summertime, when summer is considerably slower than the winter is. But we were able to adjust our expenses and adjust our business to be able to accommodate the slow months as well.
Huh, that's awesome. So, talk to me a little bit about as you. Well, I guess Talk a little bit about some of those lessons learned, and like I said, you don't have to divulge your exact finances. I don't want you to do that, but talk to me about some of the lessons learned where you're like, oh, we didn't realize this, and we had to make an adjustment, and here's how we've made it successful since learning those lessons, or things like that come to your mind of lessons learned.
Yeah, so obviously, with every business, you have to be properly licensed, properly with town, local, and state, federal, and such. So when So with this, we didn't go with like an attorney or an accountant to begin with to like get all of our licenses or our tax licenses, you know.
Yeah.
I did everything myself. I applied for our EIN, I applied for our local business license, our state tax license, and everything like such. So when I applied for the tax license, I just had to apply for sales and service tax. And then like a month in, I got an email saying that we were not properly licensed with the state.
Oh, really?
We were missing the restaurant tax, which is something that each restaurant has to have. I was not aware, so I got everything set up, and that opened my mind. So I had Googled enough to try and get us, up and running.
Yeah.
But I guess not too thoroughly that I needed to get that second license with the tax commission of the state of Utah. And obviously that we were behind like a month and a half
so you had to kind of make up for that.
So we did have to make up for that. So that was a lesson learned, because now I know that if I ever go ahead and open another business, either a restaurant or something different, now I know, okay, I'm probably more going to go with either a CPA or an attorney, a tax attorney, to
walk me through
everything, or have them do it and me be there listening in, But that was a lesson learned. And I mean, we were able to sort it out with the state tax like entity, and from there on out we have been perfectly fine. Obviously, another set of hiccups would be the month of May. So there's a common reference to Brian Head in May. They either call it Muddy May or mud season, because as you know, I mean, right now we're packed with snow. And in May it gets warm and everything starts melting, and you walk outside, you're walking through mud. So with the decline in tourism in Brian Head, so we have to adjust our employees that we're gonna have. So when we hire people, we tell them this is a seasonal position. We start mid to late November, and it goes until like the end of April. And everybody is aware now. Everybody that has worked up there. We have our employees we have one employee that's been with us going on 2 years now, and we have a few more employees. It's like I said, we're a family owned business and ran by us as well. They understand. So once May comes around, they're like, okay, we're gonna have off like a month and a half. So we adjust our payroll, we adjust our expenses, like we don't order as much product because we're not selling as much. But surprisingly, this last May in 2025, we underestimated it. We underestimated May. It was a very busy month for us.
That's a good problem.
It was a good problem, but I didn't have people on payroll. We had I told them they were done for the season. So it was just my wife and I.
Oh, man.
Luckily, my daughter was staying at her mom's for like about 3 weeks. So we were able to run it between the two of us. But Memorial Day weekend was a very busy weekend for us, and we underestimated, but it was good. We managed to get the business, get everybody their meals and all. But May has been showing a little bit more improvement over the last couple of years.
Wow, that's awesome. So during the season, how many employees do you typically have?
So we'll have between 6 and 7 employees. That's counting front of house and the back of house. Like I mentioned,
per shift or in general?
In general. So we'll have sometimes as much as 5 employees at once. We'll have 2 at the front of house. So one of them will be cashiering, and the other one will be kind of like a runner. So running food to the tables and such, and we'll have 3 in the back. So one of them is either like cooking more carne asada, more chicken, or the proteins that we have, stocking up the stations, and 2 of them are the ones that are preparing per se. So we'll have as much as 5 people per shift on the busy weekends. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So you're located at the mall in Brian Head. For those that don't know or aren't familiar with Brian Head, it's over by the Giant Steps area.
Correct. So the actual address, if they want to Google Maps, is 259 South Village Way in Brian Head, Utah. That's the address, and that'll drive you to the mall. It's a generalized address for the entire building. So we have us in one end, so Rosales Mexican Food. Right next to us, we have Paisanos, and so on. We have a general store, and there's a coffee shop. So there's quite a few businesses. There's like 4 or 5 businesses in the building now.
Yeah. So the mall recently has kind of undergone some renovations.
There has,
Yeah,
yes.
so talk a little bit about that.
So yeah,
and
so
what that means.
over the last year, there's new addition to the mall. There's now another restaurant in the other end, close to the ice rink, that's called First Chair Thai and
Okay.
Ramen.
Oh, really? Thai and ramen too?
Thai and
Oh,
ramen,
wow.
yes.
Pizza, Mexican, and Thai. Like those are like my trifecta. Those are like those are the
They're
best.
yes, like they're really good. I've tried their food. Their food is amazing. They have had our burritos as well. They've had most recently over the winter season, we had breakfast burritos for the entire season
Wow. Yeah.
in the mornings. But yeah, so with the new addition, the cafe that's still there used to be in one side of the building. Now they moved into the addition, so they share the dining room with First Chair.
Oh, okay.
So the cafe, it's called Mountain Peak Cafe. So Mountain Peak Cafe and First Chair now share the dining room. Now where the cafe used to be is a spa. So they have remodeled that, and now it's called the Lounge Spa. That's a new addition as well. So there's been a lot of additions to the building, which are bringing more people to visit because they're curious to find out what else has been added to Bryan Head.
Yeah.
It's a very growing town, and there's more potential for it to
Yeah.
continue growing.
Did they enclose the porch too?
Oh yes, correct. So this was done probably around 3-4 months probably. So it used to be just open. The boardwalk, as they call it, was just
Yeah.
open, and the biggest I guess problem was that heavy snow days with wind,
Yeah.
it would completely fill up the tables. The boardwalk was all
Unusable. Yeah.
unusable. Yeah. So the building owners decided to enclose that. So it's nice because it's garage style doors.
Yeah.
So they can be pulled up in the summer to let that wind drift come in, and it's
Yeah.
not so hot. And now in the winter they're down, and now a new addition besides that is in the main stairwell in front of the general store, they've added a heater. So now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
heated.
Oh, yeah.
Not only is it enclosed, which was already a big step, but now it's heated so people can comfortably dine outside
Yeah.
if they wish to do so.
So do you have tables set out on the
Yes,
boardwalk
so we have 2 tables. Tony Paisanos has about 3 tables, I believe, and we also have like bench, like park bench seating
Yeah.
along the building, along the wall. So yeah, there's plenty of dining set up outside for people, for example, they want to bring their pets, because that's a lot of people like to bring their pets into the
Yeah.
snow, and they sit outside, they get their food from us, from Paisanos, and they come outside and they dine. So yeah, that's something that's brand new to the mall as well. So it's
That's
it's
awesome.
very, very useful.
So when you were getting ready to start the business, who was your decorator? How did you go about deciding, how are we going to decorate this place?
So that has to go all to my wife.
Okay.
She's the one that likes to decorate. She had ideas. We didn't have that much when we first started,
yeah.
because like I said, we were new. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But
sure.
as we have been going, we have a few additions. We had some like typical style, I guess, printouts, you could say. And then as of recently, we've added a few paintings that we bought in Mexico.
Oh, cool.
Of Frida Kahlo. So she's a big she was an artist in Mexico. Her and her husband Diego Rivera, they were big in the industry, and we have a few iconic paintings of Frida.
Oh,
so we
that's
have
cool.
2 of them that we got in Mexico, and a third one we actually purchased here, but we added it to the wall as well.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
so my wife was the one in charge of decorating. We have a mural that was done by a friend of ours, a local cleaner. She has her own business in Bryan Head.
okay.
If people want to come up, people have gotten pictures there. They like the paint, the mural. So it was done by a local. She actually lives in Cedar, but she has a cleaning business in Bryan Head. So she took the time to go out and do that mural for us, and it's very pretty. A lot of people like it. They come and take pictures. People that know her will take
Yeah.
a picture and send it to her. We have it where people have taken it and tagged us on Instagram for that.
So you worked at the lodge, and now you have your own restaurant. The real question is, are you a skier? Snowboarder? Or are you like, it's not my thing? Because sometimes that's the case. Yeah.
Yes. So about that. So I'm originally from Florida.
Okay.
So as if you know anything about Florida, there's everything but snow.
Yeah, right. It's like Southern Florida or Central Florida?
I'm from South Florida, so I'm from a very, very small town in Southwest Florida. The larger city is that's next to me. It's called Naples. A lot of people know Naples. It's a very big city. It's a very retirement-friendly city, if you get what I'm saying. You know,
I lived in Central Florida for a little while. So
okay, yeah. So I'm from a small town, 45 minutes east of that, towards the Everglades. It's called Immokalee, Florida.
Okay.
It's a very small labor town. There's not really much there. I mean, there's a casino out of all things, you know.
Yeah.
There's a casino ran by a local tribe. And the last time I visited Florida was coming up on 4 years ago. I guess they're doing very well because now they've done the casino Vegas style.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had the casino, then they added a hotel to it, but it wasn't connected. Now, the last time I went, they were finishing up the remodeling where they connected the hotel lobby to the casino, so now you could just walk from one to the other.
Yeah.
So, I'm from a very small town. And to answer the question, I'm not a skier or a snowboarder per se. I have gone once. And it was painful. I snowboarded once.
Was it snowboarding?
I did, yes.
That's how I started. And all I did, and I eventually got it, all I did was roll down the mountain the whole time.
Yes.
And I had like these experienced snowboarders and say to me, they're like, "It's okay, dude." Like, I remember on the chairlift, there was this like hardcore, like, snow bum kind of guy. And he's like, "It's all right, man. My first several times, all I did was fall down and roll down the mountain with snowboarding specific." And I think I'm sure I said this on the podcast, but then my family would go to an only ski resort up north, Alta. And so I tried skiing and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. And I still snowboarded, but I got more into skiing. So I'll have to bug you sometime, and you'll have to go try skiing.
I have. So my wife and I has been intrigued about going. She has debated between if she's gonna ski or snowboard. She's obviously looked into it, watched videos, and a lot of people are like, yeah, try out snowboarding first. And she's like, I don't know if I should. So I have a friend that's an instructor for Brian Head Resort.
I was gonna ask, you've got to have some people that know.
So I have a friend who works for Brian Head Resort as a ski instructor. I think he does both, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna bug him and be like, hey, what should my wife do for the first time? I'm probably gonna try snowboarding again, but my biggest mistake when I snowboarded was that I didn't go to the bunny slope. So if you know Brian Head, you know Navajo Chair 4 is the bunny slope. That's where you gotta go when you first start trying
practice.
it out. I didn't. I was kind of peer pressured with a friend, and he got me the rental gear from his job. He worked at Brian Head Sports, so next door to where we are now. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get your gear. Let's go. It's the last day of the season. We gotta go. And I'm like, all right. They convinced me.
Last day of the season too. It's way more icy.
It was more icy. Yeah, it was very slushy. This is about 4 years ago, I believe. So we're slightly before we opened the restaurant. So I went, and he just said, hey, do you want to take a practice run on your own? And I'm like, sure, why not? I thought it was a great idea. I'm like, he thinks I'm probably gonna be doing okay. So I rode Chair 3. Chair 3 is not for the faint of heart if it's your first time. I got to the top and I looked down and it was just a straight steep hill. And I'm like, I'm going to die. But I got out of the lift. I hopped on the board. I would maybe board like 15, 20 feet. And I either picked up too much speed or I dug the front of the board and I would just face plant. But I got the hint of it. I did a few runs. That first run was painful. I was on my back like every 15 to 20 feet. I managed to be able to do it a little bit more consistently. And after my fifth or sixth run, they're like, let's go on Chair 5. And if you know Chair 5, that's Brian Head Peak. That's the top. So you have to ride 2 lifts. You have to ride Chair 2 and Chair 5 to get to the peak. You're almost in double blacks at that point. I took my time. My friends left. I'm like, you guys can go. I'll make it down. I'll see you down there, but I'm not at the same speed because they were just cruising down. They have years of experience, especially some of them are Utah grown. So they have plenty of experience. But yeah, I got the hang of it. It was fun, but I haven't been since. We've been talking with my wife and actually one of our employees, and we might go one of these days. We want to go and just try it out again. Yeah,
you totally should. And actually, I'm actually really glad. And I had an intuition that maybe you hadn't and been a lot because you hadn't mentioned it yet.
Right.
And I thought if you had been a lot, you probably would have mentioned it by now. And which is why I wanted to ask you, is because every time I go, I've skied and snowboarded for, I don't know, it's been 20 plus years now. And every time I go, though, the majority of people that I see are learners.
Right.
Because the people that are really experienced, they're off between the trees, they're doing things, but there are so many learners. And I'm actually really grateful you kind of told your story and the thing about the bunny hill, because so many people think, oh, I can do this. I'm just going to go hit this. I'm going to go on this chair and I'm going to hit this big thing. And really, the key is just take your time and build your confidence.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Like, go on the little bunny hills. You may feel dumb, but go on the little bunny hills, whether it's snowboarding or skiing, because it just gives you time to get a sense. Every single year when I go skiing, I reacclimate. Like I go down a few just easy things, and I love to go off jumps and things like that. But even then, I don't just like hit a jump. Every year when I start going again, I reacclimate. I go on the easy stuff first, kind of roll over a couple things to get a feel for it, and then once it just becomes a little more intuitive,
right,
and stuff. So, anyways, the reason why I'm blabbing about this is being where you're at and Brian Head, there are a ton of newbies, and I would say the majority of the newbies that I see are actually from out of town. And so, if they're listening to this podcast and they're like, let's go do a great ski trip, let's go to Rosales, right? I my gringo way of pronunciation, you have to forgive me. But take your time, enjoy the experience. It's better to do easy stuff and enjoy than to try to hit those difficult things and be miserable, right?
Yes, and even people that are, avid not skaters, but snowboarders or skiers, I mean, they have to understand that if they're coming, for example, let's say California, which is the majority of our traffic, our tourism comes from California.
Yeah,
most of them have probably gone to Big Bear. Mm-hmm. And I've heard from a lot of people, Big Bear is a lot more humid than we are in Brian Head. I mean, Brian Head is sitting at 9,600 feet.
Yeah.
So we have more powder. It's a lot of changes that you're seeing. One, you're at a higher altitude, so people can get altitude sickness quickly. I've had a lot of people come in and ask about that.
They just need to sit,
They just need to sit down. They just need to drink water because, they're coming from California, come from sea level, or even Vegas. Vegas is closer to 3,000, I believe. Mm-hmm. But it's almost a 7,000 foot increase. And they need to first see how the snow here is because it's more powdery, it's more loose snow.
Yeah, so, it's actually, that's why they say the greatest snow on earth, because other places, the snow, because of the humidity, the snow is a little more heavy and slushy and moist, and here it's more powdery. Anyways, So
a lot of people, they still have to acclimate. Like, there's a lot of people. Obviously, when Brian Head first opens to start the season, typically they open Navajo only. So that'll be the only two chairs that they open. And I mean, when people are so ready to snowboard or ski, they'll go to Navajo. They'll ride the same two lifts for a week or two until they open the other lifts. But I mean, you have to take it one step at a time. You can't just jump into it and go do the double blacks if you're coming from some place that's not as powdery as it is up in Brian Head.
Yeah. So tell me then, and you talked a little bit about this in the beginning, about, there's less competition in Brian Head, but from the practical perspective of a business person, but tell me, why do you guys like being in Brian Head? What is it that's unique and special about being in Brian Head?
I mean, to anybody that's not been to Brian Head, just take a stroll up there, even in the summer or in the winter. It's beautiful up there. The views are beautiful. In the summer, there's hundreds of hikes that people can do there. You can just go into nature and explore. In the summer, they do have mountain biking there, so there's still activities to do. There's razor rides. You can rent the side-by-sides, and you can just go. You can do quad. You can rent the quads over there, and you can either do like a guided tour, or you can just kind of explore on your own. There's so much to explore in Brian Head, And like I said, I had been working up there for 3 years before we opened our business, so I had a little bit more of a bias towards Brian Head.
Yeah.
But the need for food up there is astronomical. I mean, before us, there was a Thai place where we are currently at. It was Suk Jai Thai restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. That's how they were. I know they were Suk Jai. They were there for about 7 years. And before that, there was like a burger joint or something like that. But there hadn't been Mexican in about 10 years. And if you know anything, people coming from Southern California, they want to feel a little bit like home away from home. You know?
Sure.
And Mexican food is very prominent. And our Mexican food, like we tried, like I said, mentioned at the beginning, we try to keep it as authentic as possible, but we also have a little bit of a California blend into it, if you know what I mean. We have the more prominent burrito in Southern California is the California burrito, you know. It has fries in it. And people that are not from California get a little...
Like, what is that about?
What is they ask, are the fries inside it? I'm like, yes, the fries are inside, and I explain to them where it comes from, you know. And it kind of throws them off for a second, but then they're intrigued about it and they'll order it, and then they're like, okay, that was great.
Yeah, it's kind of like Utah's unique, or fry sauce is unique to Utah, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
yes, I had no idea about fry sauce. Like when I moved to Utah, they're like, "Oh, let's get fry sauce," and I'm like, "What is that?"
What is that?
I'm not
ketchup and mayo,
right? Yeah, but it's distinctive to Utah. You know? That's the same way that the California is distinctive to Southern California, because I've heard there's a variation for like Northern California.
Yeah, and I grew up in the military, so Southern California I'm very familiar with. Yeah.
So with that, I was in Southern California. That's where I met my wife, actually, you know, and then we moved up here once I exited from the military, you know. But yeah, so we get people from all over the place. Before like COVID and such, people from Russia were visiting Brian Head.
Yeah.
And I mean, I lived in Cedar City for about a year before I started working up there. I had no clue of Brian Head. Yeah. And I was like intrigued how people from Russia, Germany were visiting Brian Head. I'm like, how do you know about this place? It's a small town in the middle of Utah, of southern Utah, and yet they were visiting from many places outside, from foreign countries, you know. But that's what we try to do. Like I said, the need for food up there was astronomical once Paisanos was the only restaurant left after the Thai place left, and it was just a short period of time, like 2 months, that Paisanos was there by themselves. But we have fallen in love with Utah in general, but like Brian Head, and from the business standpoint, I mean, you grow to appreciate the little things, you know. We have acclimated to Utah, to Brian Head in itself, and it's just now another day, you know. Like, for example, people go to their job, they fall in love with a certain job, they won't leave it for 10, 20 years. Yeah, we were going on 3 years now, and I mean, that's our bread and butter. We have learned to like the drive to Brian Head. Yeah. One of the things too, when you were talking about
your why and all the great things that there is to do out there, and the distinction between here and California, I had several thoughts, and one was there's a lot of ski resorts that have beautiful views, but one thing that is so unique to Brian Head is you will be up at the top skiing, and you'll see the snow, and you'll see the pine trees, the greenery, and then you'll see red rock with green trees and snow dusted, and then the contrast with that red rock. It is, like, I think you said this, it's breathtaking, and it's not a view that you can get, I don't know of anywhere else in the world of that mix while skiing, you know.
Yes, and if anybody ever gets the chance to do this, I know it's not very prominent here, at least in Cedar City, but I know St. George, some people do tours. And the reason, like I mentioned, the reason I moved to Cedar City was I came here for school. I joined the flight program at SUU, so I have had the opportunity to have a different viewpoints of Brian Head from the sky. I have flown over Brian Head. I have flown over Cedar Breaks National Monument, and when it's winter and we're able to fly, but you see that snow on Cedar Breaks, you see that snow covering Brian Head, and you see the blend between the two. It's just a view that like none other, you know. You can't compare that. It's just an awe moment at that breath point.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, exactly. The other thing that I was thinking about, because you started going into your menu a little bit with the fries, and you highlighted a little bit at the beginning, but first give high level of maybe some of the favorite dishes from, when people come in. I actually think it's so smart what you said. I'm going to backtrack a little bit before we get into the menu. You brought up a good point of how a large majority of those that ski at Bryan Head, they're not from Cedar City. Every time I go, I would say most people I talk to are from Vegas, from California. Not as many international as there used to be since COVID. That's building back up. But from up north, northern Utah, people all the time. And I sat by this family one time. This kid, I think they're from Vegas, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's not that bad of a drive. We just drive up. It's like 2.5, 3 hours or whatever drive." And I thought that is so rad that little Iron County, the perspective, but we draw from all over the place, this tourism. And I just think it's genius how you're saying doing the California burrito, so that when these tourists come, they're having this new experience, but there's this sense of they feel at home. And that's one of the things I love about Iron County, Cedar City, Bryan Head, is we are a hometown, and we really pride ourselves in kind of keeping that sense of hometown. But I never thought about it in the context of when people come visit, making them feel at home while having this really cool experience. But
yeah, so we definitely get people from all over. West of us, we do get people north from us, like for example Ogden and Salt Lake Valley, all that area. Majority of them will probably go to like Park City because they have ski resorts that are local to them, but we still get quite a few families every now and then.
But this year we got snow first, so
we did. So for about 2 or 3 years now, I think Bryan Head has been the first ski resort opening in Utah. So we have beaten to that. So
that's awesome.
We've been opening like early to mid November the last couple of years, and yes, with our clientele majority coming from California, Vegas, and everywhere in between, even Arizona, we get a lot of those. So these weeks coming up, we actually starting to have spring break, right?
Yeah.
We'll have a few weeks where not all spring breaks from the different states line up.
Right,
so there'll be different
kind of alternate.
Weeks. Alternate, yeah. So we do get like for example, we have California's spring break. We'll get them, I think it's like around mid-March, right after, either late February or early March. We'll get them right after President's Day. We have President's Day weekend, and then we'll roll right into like spring break time frame. Okay. So we get California, we get Nevada, we get Arizona spring break, and all of them come over. When we get Iron County or Southern Utah spring break, they don't visit us. They want to get away from the cold.
Yeah.
This is the irony that when all the college guys and gals from Southern Utah get their spring break, they want to get away from the cold. Yeah. They go elsewhere. They go to the beach.
Go play somewhere warm.
Go play somewhere. Yeah. They're like, we're tired of the snow. We got a week off. We're going elsewhere. Yeah. But all the California people, Arizona, Nevada, they will come to us during that spring break time frame. Yeah. So we do, like I said, the California, going a little bit into the menu, like you were mentioning, California burrito is one of our best sellers. It's composed of carne asada, French fries, sour cream, guacamole, and cheese. It's a very hefty burrito.
Sounds like I need to go buy a burrito now.
you need to come visit us one of these days. So that's something that's one of our best sellers. Anything carne asada, primarily, it's by far, it's a very good seller. Carne asada tacos, burritos, quesadillas. We have plates. We have mulitas, which is a blend, kind of like a quesadilla in a smaller form, and corn instead of flour.
Yeah.
So
Ita meaning small, right?
Yes, mulita. Yeah. So Ita, it's like a small derivative.
Spanish, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like small, referring to. Yes, mulita. So it's a corn tortilla layered with cheese, the protein of your choice, onion, cilantro, and then another little bit more cheese on top, and another tortilla. It's kind of like a sandwich per se.
Yeah.
So we have that. And anything carne asada is a very good seller. We also have chicken as another of our proteins. We marinate our chicken. We have al pastor, which is the pork with pineapple. Mm-hmm. And we have carnitas, which is shredded pork as well. They also... very well.
For the non-Spanish speaker, those that aren't familiar with the Mexican food, it always cracks me up. Carnitas and carne asada. I'm like, wait, one's beef, one is pork, right? Yeah.
Correct.
And so I always, in my mind, I'm always alternating them.
Yeah. So carne asada refers to the way, it doesn't really say beef in the word.
Yeah,
like the translation is grilled meat. That's literally word by word translation of carne asada. Carne is meat, asada is grilled.
Yeah.
But it's been
Traditionally
just called that. Yeah. So yeah, when people ask, and we even put it on our menu, we have put it in parentheses, we put steak.
Yeah.
Just so people understand. But I mean, everybody nowadays knows carne asada is beef.
Yeah.
And so carne asada is by far our best seller. I mean, we sell carne asada in the vast majority of items. But we also have plates. We have had like enchiladas. We have tostadas. We have flautas, which flautas is the traditional name that they use in Mexico. But if you want to translate it, we could say the taquitos, the chicken taquitos, deep fried taquitos.
Yeah.
We dress them. They come dressed. They come with side of rice, side of beans. We have a carnitas plate. We have a carne asada plate, which is the whole steak that we grill. It comes with rice, beans, tortilla, and guacamole on the side.
You're making me so hungry right now.
We're going to have to visit the restaurant.
I know, that's right.
We're going to have to make a drive to Brian. We'll snowboard and we'll go eat at the same time, right?
We'll eat our California burrito while going down the slope.
Believe it or not, that's what college students do. The college age students that visit us when we open. So we open at 11 on weekdays. Right now, we're doing breakfast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 8.
Okay.
But everyone, more so the college age students, they will go grab a burrito to go because it's a grab and go item. You just grab a burrito, you unwrap it, you start walking back to the lift.
Yeah.
You're eating it as you're waiting in line, if there is a line at that point, and on your way up the lift to all the way to where it's taking you, you can continue to eat it. And if you know anything about the gear, they have cargo pockets.
Yeah.
You get to the top. If you don't want to eat it because you might fall, you just wrap it up, throw it in your cargo pocket, snowboard down, and repeat on the way up, And I have seen that so much because at the beginning, we thought it was mostly people going to be dining in, but all the youngins, 18, 19, 20-year-olds were getting to go. And I actually asked them, I'm like, hey, how come you guys... Because with that, you kind of start to notice the regulars,
Yeah.
Like, I might not remember your name, but I know your face.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, how come you guys just go straight to go, And they're like, oh, they explained to me, we eat it on our way up the hill.
Yeah.
We throw it in our cargo pocket, and then we repeat on the way up. And I'm like, that's so smart.
Yeah.
You're not wasting time. You're eating, but you're having fun at the same time. They're not wasting time. They're there for a purpose, and that is snowboarding. But they're still going to eat on their way up,
Yeah.
So, it's very... intriguing how it's a quick grab item. The burritos are by far, they sell better than anything else. Like we in the morning, we've noticed a pattern that in the morning, it's primarily burritos. We'll have tacos, we'll have quesadillas, but primarily we're selling burritos out the door, just going out the door. And in the evening, we'll have the families with their younger children. We're family friendly. And we have music that we're always playing. The kids come around, and we have family plates. We have the plates, and we have a kids meal exclusively, which includes them a fountain drink, includes them a side option,
Yeah.
But we have learned to adapt that in the morning we're catering to the teenagers and such. In the evening, we're catering to the families.
Yeah. Now that's a couple things now that you've mentioned that are unique to your business, but I think are good lessons for any business owner, and whether specifically small business owners, but really applies to any businesses. Watch what your audience does. Watch what your clients do, because a lot of times people will go into business thinking, oh, I'm going to create or sell this item for this purpose, and then they find people start using it for a whole different purpose or in a different way than you thought. And so, without changing the scope of what you do, you acclimate to the clientele and kind of what their unique needs are, right? And that's a couple of things that you've highlighted with the California burrito, and then just the burritos to go, and then kind of knowing, the time frame when you're going to sell the burritos versus the family plates, and just kind of knowing your dynamic between the college kids and the high schoolers and then the family audiences. That's just smart business practice.
Yes,
Watch your audience.
And that made us do a lot of changes at the beginning because we wanted to have an authentic feel of Mexican place. Obviously, we couldn't open a Mexican place and not do burritos because burritos, in case people don't know, they're not really Mexican.
Yeah.
They're a Tex-Mex item that had been adapted into Mexican cuisine.
Yep.
So we obviously opened up and we had burritos on our menu. But items that we didn't have, for example, are carne asada fries. If you're familiar with those, it's just French fries with the carne asada. Primarily, people will switch it up, you know. Primarily, then we do cheese. Some places do cheese sauce, like nacho cheese.
Yeah.
We didn't. We went with shredded cheese. So we put shredded cheese on them.
Real stuff.
Yeah, real stuff, you know. And then we'll melt it and we top it with guacamole, pico, and sour cream. We didn't have that to begin with. Even though that's a very popular item in Southern California, we didn't. But people started coming, like, once again, California teenagers, college students started coming like, hey, you got carne asada fries? And we're like, we got everything to make it. Let's just add it to the menu.
Yeah.
So we added it to the menu, not to our permanent menu because we had already printed it, but we had chalkboards on our counter that said carne asada fries. Then we added nachos. We had chips because we do chips and salsa, chips and wok, chips and pico. And people were like, can we do nachos? And we started adding nachos. And so our menu evolved as we went because we saw what people were wanting.
Yeah.
We had an idea of like this, we're going to make it strictly Mexican, like from Mexico, you know, like Mexican
like very
menu.
Authentic,
yeah. While our flavors remain the same, our menu has shifted to that Southern California or Tex-Mex style cooking.
Yeah.
So we have now nachos. And another recent addition was people like queso. Chips and queso, chips dip, queso dip. We added that recently as well because it was a highly requested item.
Yeah.
So we had to adapt. We have to. You can't go with the idea if you want to remain to the people, like for people to continue visiting you. You have to adapt to their liking, to items that you know are going to sell. So our menu has evolved so much. We've changed our menu like 2 or 3 times. Now, to not continue printing, we now have screens. So it's a quick fix. We just go in, edit the file, and put it on our USB, and it goes right back onto the TV. And now we have a menu now on our permanent, our item on our permanent menu now. And it's helped us a lot. It's helped us evolve, continue ourselves, and continue pleasing everyone so that they walk away happy, you know.
I love all these things you're talking about, again, because a lot of times businesses will go in. There's some businesses where they try to be everything and they spread themselves too thin. And there's some businesses that are only honed in on, this is what we plan, this is all we're going to do. But the truth is, what you're showing is kind of this real world experience of adapting, being adaptable, knowing your audience, and making adjustments that are going to be more cost effective, that are going to sell better, etc. Like the menus. That's a great point. Is, well, why are we printing menus still when we could do it more in this fast casual style? And the menu's right there, and we can change it as needed, and not have to spend the cost of doing that. One quick digression. Do you have horchata?
Yes. We don't have it every day because we make it from scratch. We don't buy the concentrate for horchata.
Oh, I love that.
So we soak.
Horchata's my favorite. Yeah.
We have carried it, yes.
Yeah.
We have had horchata, and we also had jamaica. You know, the hibiscus tea.
Okay.
We used to steep the hibiscus flowers, you know. And surprisingly, that didn't sell as well as horchata did.
Yeah.
But we do soak our own rice. We soak the rice with cinnamon sticks, and then we blend it, and we add, I can't tell you the recipe. I wish I could. My wife will kill me.
Yeah, don't give away the secret.
A secret. That's what's keeping us there.
I'm going to tell you my thoughts on horchata, but keep going. So.
And horchata is really dairy dependent, or at least the recipe that my wife makes. So we can't have it for that long because, I mean, not that it stays sitting there that long.
Sure.
It sells very,
you
very
don't
well.
You don't want it to sit.
We don't want it to sit, but we do have horchata. And another Mexican item, I guess you could say, we make our own tres leches cake.
Oh, really?
We do make our own tres leches cake. So we bake it, we do the mixture of the milks, and we top it, you know. So we make that as well. We like I said, we try to make everything as homemade as we can, as authentic as we can. So we do have horchata, so I'll make sure to have some when you visit us.
I know. Well, it's funny. Okay, so my wife and I, gosh, this is probably it's probably I don't know, 18 years ago or something. The first time either of us had horchata. But I grew up in the military in Southern California, Southern Arizona, and surprisingly, I never had horchata. But after my wife and I were married, or when we were dating, at some point, we had horchata, and ever since then, we've kind of become horchata snobs. Like I can almost always tell if it's a mix. And there's two kind of flavorings of horchata, and one is kind of the cinnamon stick kind of flavor, the very traditional classic. That's my favorite. And I'll still drink the other kind, but the other kind tastes like cinnamon bears. Like, the candy cinnamon bears? They just taste like cinnamon bears. And it's okay, and I still love it because I love horchata, but I can always tell when it's like authentic or if it's like cinnamon bear hot horchata.
Yes. So we try to keep it authentic. So we do soak our own rice. We let it soak overnight because it just, the flavor is just there.
Yeah.
And the cinnamon releases its flavor into the rice itself, and then we blend it together.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
We'll blend it. Yeah. So we do make our own horchata. We have made, like I said, we made hibiscus. We've had pineapple before. For the winter, we have it on our menu, Mexican hot chocolate.
Really?
So we have done hot chocolate. So in the winter and summer, we add seasonal items. Like, for example, this time around, we have birria. If you ever had a birria, it's like a Mexican stew.
Oh, really? Huh.
It's like a red broth. People make it in two different ways. They'll eat the stew with itself, and another popular item that once again Southern California blend into it. It's called quesadillas, which is like a small quesadillas with the meat in it, and then they'll dip it in the broth in itself, and it's just an explosion of flavor. The broth just adds to it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we have on our seasonal item right now. So we have added it to the menu for the winter season. And we were doing it on a limb at first to see if it was going to sell or not, and it stuck to the menu. So now we do that in the winter, and in the summer time frame we'll switch it up and we'll do like shrimp tacos, for example.
Oh, okay, yeah,
it's a little bit more fresh,
fresh.
Yeah, something fresh, and it has like a coleslaw with it that comes with it. So people love that in the summer because if people go to, like, for example, this shrimp tacos, fish tacos kind of originated in Ensenada, Mexico, just south of San Diego, like 2 hours south of San Diego. And people that come from California have gotten, fish tacos, shrimp tacos. So we do that and people just love it. We have to adapt. Like you said, we can't just be focused in this is what's going to sell and we're just going to keep it because we'd probably be out of business by now. But adapting, adding those changes has helped us, probably get a little bit more of the clientele to favor us, or not favor necessarily, but like just overall try us and be like, this is good,
Yeah. One of my favorite things, and maybe you or those who know authentic Mexican might smack your head at this, but one of my favorite things on shrimp tacos or fish tacos is actually sriracha mayo. I love sriracha mayo on those. I don't know why, but
I have not tried it with sriracha mayo. We make our own, like, it's kind of like a chipotle mayo per se.
Oh, really?
So we do make it. Yeah, so we do make that for that because that's an item that they add because it adds a level of freshness because it's served cold, that sauce. So we do make a chipotle aioli in a sense.
Oh,
kind of like a blend of a chipotle aioli into the fish tacos. So we'll serve those with fish tacos with the slaw and everything on them dressed.
Well, without giving away your recipe, I'm curious, what is a Mexican hot chocolate? What's distinct about that?
So if you ever just Google chocolate in Mexico, you'll probably find the brand is called Abuelita, which is grandmother.
Oh, okay.
She's the face of the chocolate. So obviously that's what we use. We use the Abuelita chocolate, and we use some other spices into it that give it a distinct flavor to it. And we make it milk-based. Yeah. We can make it water-based for people that are,
milk-based, but
that are, lactose intolerant per se. But we do milk-based chocolate, and we add that Abuelita chocolate. We had, like, for example, cinnamon, and my wife knows the rest. I have not made it. I know how to cook basically everything in the menu, and I have, but like the items that we add in seasonally, it's more of her ideas and her recipes that go into it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, we all have learned to basically cook Obviously, our cashiers that are seasonal, they strictly go to cashiering. But like, for example, my wife works at the restaurant. My mom works at the restaurant. Her mom used to work at the restaurant. She's now, back in California. But we all have learned to cook everything in the menu. And there's days that I'll just have a cashier and it'll be me in the back, There's at least one of us at the restaurant at a time. So we're family owned, veteran owned and operated, family owned and operated. So we're there all the time. And we try to keep it as authentic and as give the best food that we can.
That's awesome. Well, kind of to wrap things up, you had mentioned the address earlier, but what would you like to leave our listeners with to know about your business and and where they can find you? Not only physical address, I don't know if you have social media or online or things like that, but how can people?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, so our physical address is 259 South Village Way, Bryan Head, Utah. We're basically in the same. We share a parking lot with Giant Steps. Within Bryan Head Resort. So Giant Steps is like the lodge, as they call it there. We're in the same area, or if people, I guess more so know us, we're in the mall at Bryan Head, right next to the ice rink. So there's an ice rink right next door to us. We're right next to Bryan Head Sports. So there's a lot of businesses around us that, will give us away. We're hidden in the boardwalk at the end, at the south end of the mall. We do have social media. You can find us as Rosales Mexican Food on both Facebook and Instagram. We're there 7 days a week. Obviously, this is during the winter time frame. In the slow months, like for example, May, we do shut down for about a week just as a breather. We just go away, relax for a few days.
Have a vacation.
We did one last year and we have one planned for this year. And we just go away for a few days, recharge, come back, and do it again for another year.
That's awesome.
So that's where we are. We are in Bryan Head, Utah. I don't know. That's pretty much where we are.
Well, awesome.
We offer as authentic food as we can get.
Yeah. Well, hey, Christian, I appreciate you coming on, talking not only about the great things about the Bryan Head area and but also some great small business owner lessons. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you. Christian Morales with Rosales Mexican Food. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me today.